Welcome to another edition of Self-Defense Across America. Okay, so we're going to take a look at some defensive use of a firearm stories from this past week. And we're going to start in Houston, Texas, because Houston, Texas is one of the most popular places to have firearm-related defensive stories. And we're going to start, our victim was an adult male who was unharmed, and our suspect was an adult male who was injured. And authorities said a burglary suspect was shot at the 5th Ward junkyard after he spray painted a security canine and tried to assault a security officer at the property. According to the Houston Police Department, it happened in the 1200 block of Jensen Drive around 6:50 p.m. HPD said a security guard was doing his rounds at the scrapyard business when he saw a man inside the property who wasn't supposed to be there. The man reportedly grabbed a bottle of spray paint and sprayed the canine dog with the security guard. He then reportedly grabbed a pole and started walking towards the security guard. The guard then shot the man several times. The suspect was transported to a hospital with gunshots to the upper torso. He is expected to survive. The security guard remained at the scene and is cooperating with the investigators. Police said this case will most likely be handled through a jury. Okay. So this guy's breaking into spray paint a junkyard and gets caught by the security canine and security guard. Fort Worth, Texas. Let's stay with Texas. We got our victim is an adult male, and this one looks like an armed robbery. A man was shot and injured at a South Fort Worth game room Wednesday night when he tried to prevent a robbery. Officers responded to a game room shortly after 10 p.m., they learned 2 armed suspects had entered the game room and announced a robbery. A man at the scene pulled out a gun and tried to stop the robbery. The victim sustained a single gunshot wound to the chest in an exchange of gunfire with the suspects. The suspects fled the scene, officials said, and the victim was transported by private vehicle to a local hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. So at least the Good Samaritan who tried to stop it was not injured too bad if he's just got non-life-threatening injuries. But oftentimes this is what happens. Someone pulls out a gun to try and stop these guys and it turns into a shootout. And this seemed to end fine for everybody, but that's not always the case. Wow, another Texas, San Antonio, Texas. We got an adult male victim that was unharmed. And our suspect was an adult male, and he was injured and arrested, and this looks like another armed robbery. A suspected carjacker was unable to drive a stick shift and was shot by the victim while trying to flee early Thursday morning. The incident occurred around 2:45 a.m., not far from Loop 410 and Maribach Road on the city's far west side. According to the police, a carjacker had stolen a vehicle and had to ditch it a few feet away because he couldn't drive the standard transmission. Police said while the man ran to another suspect's vehicle, the victim pulled out a gun and started shooting at them. That's when police say the suspect in the passenger seat was grazed in the head by a bullet that went through the headrest of the car. SAPD said the suspect eventually made it home where their family called emergency crews. The man was taken by EMS to the University Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Authorities say the suspected carjacker left behind his own vehicle at the scene. Police did not say what charges the man potentially faces. So this guy has a car and is stealing another car and can't drive a stick shift and then ends up getting shot in the head as he tries to steal another car, and just bad luck. And if you have that bad of luck, you should not be a criminal. Okay, Phoenix, Arizona. At least we get out of Texas for this one. We got an adult male victim who was unharmed, and our suspect who was killed in this one is 30-year-old Ricky Gomez, and this looks like a home invasion. Officers responded to a house near 17th Avenue and Coolidge Street in Phoenix just before 11 p.m. Phoenix police officers said they learned a man had forced entry into a home and the homeowner shot him. Phoenix Fire Department crews responded to the scene and took the man to the hospital where he later died. Detectives responded and have taken over the investigation. This incident was being investigated and no arrests were made. So no arrests were made. They shot the guy. Oh, because he died, so they didn't arrest the... Yeah, well, the home invasion suspect ends up breaking into the home, and it didn't end too well for... He was 30 years old, wasn't he? Yeah, 30-year-old Ricky Gomez. It didn't end too well for him breaking into that home. Okay, we go to Detroit, Michigan, where our victim this time, our victim was killed, and this appears to be a road rage. Police investigation revealed that 2 people have been killed in an apparent road rage shooting incident in northwest Detroit. The incident occurred on Friday, October 6th at 3:11 p.m. around the Detroit Police 10th Precinct area. Police said a man who drove the burgundy pickup got into a fender bender with a woman driving a sedan. After the fender bender, neither the woman nor the man decided to call the police, but instead she called her family, who helped her chase the driver of the burgundy pickup down. Oh, great. Police say the man flew through a stop sign and crashed into a gray minivan driven by another woman who had nothing to do with the incident. The driver of the minivan succumbed to her injuries, while this innocent person gets killed because these morons decide to chase this guy. After the crash occurred, the people who chased the driver of the burgundy pickup started shooting at him. He got out of the pickup truck and armed himself before returning fire. Officials say the man was shot and killed on the scene as police found him dead on the street with his gun in his hand. There were approximately 17 shell casings marked on the ground. Police say they recovered the vehicle of the initial woman's sedan about a mile away from the incidents. Officials say her vehicle was full of blood, but the woman was nowhere to be found. Detroit Police Chief James White arrived at the scene and spoke about the incident. It's just a horrible case. It's senseless, and we're going to look into it and hopefully make an arrest. In fact, we're going to put out a reward of $1,000 for information leading to the arrest of the suspect that engaged in this incident. And you can call 1-800-SPEAK-UP for that. And White, the police chief, said they are looking for 3 suspects and they're working on descriptions of the vehicle. So these guys get in an accident, and I've said this in these videos before. If I ever got in an accident with somebody, depending on the situation and where I was and how bad it was, if my car was still functional and I was fine, I would probably not get out. In most neighborhoods, I would probably not get out. I would probably Google the closest police station and I would drive there and I would tell the person to meet me at the police station. Because oftentimes these don't go well. I mean, you'd like to think you get in a fender bender with somebody, you go out and you exchange information, or in this case, they decided not even to exchange information. They got out and said, it's fine, let's just go on with our day. And this girl decides that she's going to, get all these people, I was going to say thugs, but I refrained from saying that, all these people to come out and chase this guy down who, ends up speeding away, and some innocent person in a car just driving by ends up dying because of these idiots that are chasing the guy for no reason. Literally no reason. But I know I personally wouldn't get out of my car in very many of the incidents. If it was an old guy or something like that, maybe. But there was a day that you could do that, but those days are long since past. Okay, now we're going to Manhattan Beach, California, to the Prestige Jewelers. We got 1 victim who was unharmed, and holy cow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 suspects. All of them were unharmed. And let's see what happened at this jewelry. Authorities are searching for a group of suspects who targeted a Manhattan Beach jewelry store in a smash-and-grab robbery before an employee opened fire on them. The scene unfolded around 12:40 p.m. when El Segundo police were dispatched to Prestige Jewelers, that's a hard word to say, located in the 3000 block of Sepulveda Boulevard, after learning of an attempted robbery, according to the statement from Manhattan Beach Police Department. 5 suspects, who were described as wearing hooded sweatshirts, used hammers to smash the jewelry showcases. An employee of the store responded by using a firearm to shoot towards the suspects. After the employee opened fire, police say the suspects were seen fleeing southbound on Sepulveda Boulevard. in vehicles that were waiting outside of the store. No injuries were reported in the incident. It was unclear how much jewelry was taken during the robbery. And the grieving a loss, they're here. Okay, so this is California. I mean, what do you expect? The smash and grabs, they're happening all the time. This guy, at least, the guy working at this jewelry store, he has a gun and at least chases them off, so they didn't come off with too much. But odds are this guy's going to get, that shot the gun, is going to get some kind of charge thrown at him because he's in California, and they're going to come up with some way of making him the bad guy and the people that broke into the store the victims. All right, now we go to Chicago, Illinois, where we have a 28-year-old male victim who was injured. And this is just saying defensive use. And, of course, it's a Chicago, so all we get is the Chicago Police Department report. A male victim, 28, was in a dispute with an unknown male offender in the alley when both suspects so they're calling the unknown male a suspect. Okay. When both suspects produced handguns and exchanged gunfire, the offenders fled the scene, and it's unknown at this time if he sustained injuries. The victim sustained a gunshot wound to the right leg and arm and was transported to Mount Sinai Hospital in good condition. The victim was very uncooperative and refused to answer questions about the incident. Officers did recover his weapon, and there is no one in custody. Area 5 detectives continue to investigate. Yeah, this is the police. They don't cooperate with the police. So all this stuff goes on. He knows the guy. He knows he's just going to be able to go get him again a different day, attack him, whatever, and that the dispute will keep going on and on. All right, we go to Chicago again. This time we have a male victim who is unharmed, and we got two teenagers. They're both male, 15 and 16 years old. Let's see what these guys did. And back to another Chicago Police Department report. In the 9400 block of South Lafayette on October 7th of 2023 at approximately 1:38 p.m., two male victims, 15 and 16, approached an unknown male and initiated a physical altercation with the unknown male. So how do they call these guys? Two male victims were aged 15 and 16, approached an unknown male. They approached him and initiated a physical altercation with the unknown male. The unknown male then produced a handgun and fired shots. There are no offenders in custody. Area detectives are investigating. So these two kids, teenagers, approach a man, start a physical altercation with the man. The man shoots back or shoots at them, and they're calling the two people that started it all the victims. This is Chicago. The victim was the guy that had to pull out his gun and shoot at them, not these two kids that are approaching him and starting a fight with him. Anyway, the 15-year-old was struck in the leg and was transferred to the hospital in good condition, and the 16-year-old was struck in the hand. So he shot him, but he didn't shoot him in any manner that would kill them. This is a weekly video, so if you like this type of content, hit that like button, leave your thoughts in the comments, and consider subscribing. And I'll catch you next week.